Hello, everybody, and welcome to Xperienceships channel. My name is Cecilia, and this is Coffee Breaks with. Every Monday to Friday, we have chats with different professionals for you guys to explore their careers and learn more about them. So today we are having a chat with Rebecca Broad. She works in marketing communications, and she's a freelancer. So today we're going to find out everything that has to do with communications and also being a freelancer in this day and age, especially in the climate that we're in right now. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, I'm good. I've just had a cup of coffee and I'm like ready to chat.
Amazing. Great. Awesome. So you are now based in Devon, England?
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Cool. And you work, like, as far as I've understood it, like you work in marketing and communications as a freelancer.
Yeah. So the phrase I use is freelance communicator, which different people have different sort of takes on. But for me, it's the fact that no matter what I do, it always comes back to helping people communicate better with who they want to communicate with. So, it's quite tempting to say I'm a social media freelancer or I'm an events PR assistant, but actually I like doing lots of different bits. And so calling myself a freelance communicator means I can help clients to communicate however they see fit, whether that's events, social media, PR, blogging, you name it.
That's really cool, and it makes it really easy for people to find you, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to the argument, which like I can try and be too much to too many people, and therefore people are like, well, what do you actually do? And there's a strong argument for like niching down and being really clear about I only provide this service to this audience.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I'm a freelancer is because I wanted to design a life that suited me, and that included doing work that suited me, and part of that is flexibility.
Yeah, I understand. So if you don't mind, like, tell us a little bit more about you, like, who are you and what kind of work do you do?
Yeah, so I'll start at the beginning. So I am from the Midlands in England. I grew up mostly in Leicestershire. And when I left school, I was going to go to uni and study biology, which started really well. And then I was having some health complications, and it turned out that I had to, it's not defer, it's an interrupt. I had to interrupt my studies at university. And when I came back from interruption, once I'd managed my health a little bit better, I was approached to do a fortnightly blog for a sports company. They're a company just like local to Exeter, which is where I studied. And so I was studying biology part-time and I was blogging part-time. And then within a few months, the part-time blogging position had turned into managing their social media and their email newsletter and their sponsors for the events that were held. And so like I just fell into it. It was completely accidental, which was really cool. And it was really nice to have two separate things. So when I got stressed out with work, I'd go and study biology, and when I was like getting bored of biology, I'd go and do some work. It was a really nice balance. And then when that company closed down, I went and did some other work, did some like marketing communications, assistant roles, internships and things like that. But I really missed just working for like small businesses rather than working in teams within larger organizations. And so I started to seek out more freelance work. And it just kind of snowballed from there, really. It's hard. I don't really have like this is what happened and this is a clear path. It just grew, which is the case with so many freelancers. When you start to talk to them, there was never this like amazing view in sight that they like march towards. It's just this winding path.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then when I finished my degree, which was nearly 2 years ago now, wow, I went full-time with the freelancing because I felt like I built up enough client trust and enough connections and enough networks to think that potentially if I got enough work I could support myself. And yeah, that's what I've been doing. And so this November it'll be 5 years in business. This summer it'll be 2 years full time. So yeah, that's kind of how I got to where I am. I don't regret doing a biology degree because it was super interesting.
Oh, you still finished the degree?
Yeah. And the reason I started it is because I wanted to go into nature conservation, which is super important to me, and it's something that I still use. So a couple of years ago I became a trustee for a wildlife charity, and so I sit on a board of directors which thinks like strategically long term about the future of the charity. We meet 3 or 4 times a year as a board, and then we divide into like working groups and subcommittees, and so that's where I get to use my biological knowledge. It's like an alter ego.
But that's really awesome though, to like, just that you can use your studies, but maybe not just to make money or to make a living, that you can actually use it in a different side of your life. I think that's very valuable
absolutely
experience to share.
And I think a lot of people, like the vast majority of people in marketing, come from a huge variety of backgrounds. Like it's not like you need a marketing degree to be in any kind of marketing position.
No.
So some people I know did like anthropology, some I know did business studies, law, a lot of English students, and so it's a really nice like varied field. And so I don't stand out too much for having a scientific subject as like my background. But and it also means I've got more of a handle on like data and statistics. So coming at marketing from a science background, I'm more likely to be like, okay, if we're gonna run with this campaign, like what is the evidence to show us that that's a good idea, or how has something worked before in this field, which, you know, what can we learn from that to take forward and things like that. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have that background, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of like it sounds like the fields are intertwining quite well.
Yeah,
like the methods you use for marketing versus
you should see my spreadsheets. Colors, love it.
Super structured.
Yeah, that's I love a bit of structure. Like I love flexibility. It's really weird. I need flexibility, which is why I'm a freelancer, but I also need to create my own structure.
Yeah, that's cool. Great. So I was wondering, how is the current situation affecting you today? Is it affecting you at all?
I think quite literally it's affecting me. So obviously I've moved, well, I'm not at my home at the minute, I'm with my partner's family. I usually work in a co-working space, and obviously that's shut down. I've had to cancel a number of work trips to London. I was supposed to be speaking at an event in Plymouth this week. Supposed to be going to some conferences like Brighton SEO. So kind of like day-to-day activities have all stopped.
Yeah.
But the actual work that I'm doing hasn't really changed. And I'm really fortunate in that, because I do know a lot of freelancers who have lost some of their work, and some who've even completely lost all of their clients.
Yeah.
And so it just happens to be that the clients that I work with are quite comfortable working completely remotely, or they don't have any income based on in-person interaction. So yeah, working with a voice consultancy, Amazon Alexa app developer, obviously they're completely used to working over the internet, and they found the shift to remote quite easy. So that's not affecting my work with them at all. And even clients who have had to furlough their employees, they still see the value in constant communication through social media and PR, which I'm really thankful for, because I know a lot of people are just like, the world's ending, no more marketing for anybody. And actually it's really nice to have clients who are like, okay, let's see the longer term vision, if they have the resources to do so.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. That's awesome that you're not getting affected by it that much, like
work-wise, client-wise, nothing's changed. And I do feel really fortunate for that, because I do know a lot of people who are having to shift their entire businesses right now, or just find a whole new set of clients. And so yeah, every morning I do feel really grateful that even if I'm coming to work and it's really busy and I'm like head down in meetings all day, it's like, actually, I'm really glad for that because I still have an income.
Yeah. I guess that's both a pro and a con as a freelancer, that you're used to working remotely and
yeah, especially as a people person. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people, I don't know if I'm an introvert or an extrovert. So like, I really enjoy being around people, and that's why I use co-working spaces.
Yeah.
But I'm actually quite enjoying just being quiet at the moment and being at home.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah,
We don't have
I'm
to put
adapting fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't have to put ourselves in a box, I reckon.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We can just, flow with whatever feels good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I will continue to do that.
Just flow. I thought I'd take a question that we've received from one of our followers.
Mm-hmm.
That was wondering about your work. And
Mm-hmm.
so she asks, like, can you tell us why you decided to go freelance and what inspired you to take the risk?
I suppose 2 parts to each of those bits about why freelance and the risk. So, and I'm probably going to forget them as I move on, so we'll just go with it. So firstly, I didn't really plan to go freelance, it just happened.
Yeah.
Secondly, I wanted to stay freelance and go full-time freelance because that's how I best manage my health. And so if I'm the person that's completely in charge of my time, I can decide, okay, today I don't feel very well, I'm just going to take it easy, or I Skype my therapist on a Thursday morning. Like, I can do that because I've not got my employer telling me I need to be in this meeting or to be here or there. Like, that's a boundary that I can manage.
Yeah.
And I can travel with work, which is really important to me. The risk side of things, I always like to turn this on its head. So I currently have 4 clients on retainer, and then a group of clients that come back to me for projects.
Okay.
So the risk of all of them turning around tomorrow and being like, we're going to drop you, no income, is probably lower than the risk of me having a full-time employer and them saying, we're going to drop you. So it's like the whole eggs in baskets analogy. So it feels risky because I'm completely in control of my income, but there are ways as a freelancer of managing that risk. So having clients on retainer, so I know that until the end of June, I know the income that I've got.
Yeah.
Like, guaranteed, basically, in a legal document.
Yeah.
And there are also things I've put in place, like income protection insurance. So if I was to not be able to work for whatever reason, I pay, I think it's £8 a month, and I know that Aviva cover my income.
Yeah.
Health insurance and things like that. So for me, like, the benefits and the risks, the benefits outweigh the risks, and I've done what I can to mitigate the risks at this stage.
That's really smart and a really good answer. Just like no, it's like, make sure to minimize the risk, because there's so much you can do as a freelancer. Because I think a lot of people are like, when they're thinking about going freelancing, they're only thinking about the risks. Like, but you just have to do your homework to be able to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you feel like it's worth it.
Yeah, and there are so many ways to create buffers between you and, like, risky situations. Yeah. So my goal this year is to increase the amount of money I've got in a savings account. And so if for some reason all of my clients turn around tomorrow and said they didn't want to work with me anymore, if my income protection failed and I was suddenly like, I have no money, then I can go to the savings account that I've built up over the past months and years and be like, cool, I've got 3, 4, 5, 6 months worth of living expenses in that account that I can go to. And actually, like, being in this current environment, it's highlighting the risks of being employed as well. So seeing a lot of friends be furloughed, seeing one of my housemates just lost his job, like with no warning. He was just given 4 weeks garden leave, and that's it. And he now has to find a new job. He doesn't have any savings. He doesn't have any income protection.
Wow.
And so this really, really sucks. But sometimes as a freelancer, because we have those risks, we've put the plans into place and we're more ready for when things don't go our way.
Yeah. Good.
I hope that's not too negative.
No, it's great. Like, you have to know what you're in for. And I think you've given some really good tips on what you should think about.
Absolutely.
Before you go freelance.
Yeah. One of the big things I see is people in employed jobs handing in their notice and being like, right, I'm just going to go full-time freelance. And that it looks really good from the outside to just like take that decision. But one thing that a lot of freelancers always say is make the shift and like build up that cushion fund before you take the leap.
Yeah.
Because trying to win work when you're thinking, I need to win this because it pays my rent, that's a desperate situation to be in, and it's not going to work. Like, that will always come through in proposals and stuff. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's some really great tips.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I have another one. Like some pieces, like 3 pieces of advice you'd give to someone who wants to explore your field.
Yeah. In terms of communications, and so, okay, let's make it simple. Let's think if you want to go into freelancing and social media management.
Yeah.
The first thing is to make sure you've done for yourself what you're proposing to do for others. And so what that means is no one's going to pay you to manage their Instagram account if your Instagram account has 2 posts on it and they don't have very well written captions.
Yeah.
Like, the least you can do is make sure you're showing that you've got experience in the field that you want to charge for. And that doesn't necessarily mean working for free. It can mean doing some work like on your own platforms. It can mean helping your friends out. It can mean whatever which helps you to build that social proof. And honestly, like, if you look at a lot of digital marketing agencies, like, their own digital marketing is quite lax because they're so busy doing it for other people, they're not doing it for themselves. And so, and I fall prey to that too. Like, there's that what's it saying? It's like the cobbler's shoes are always broken.
Oh,
do you know that one?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, it's really hard, but try and fix your own shoes before you fix other people's.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise, like, why would people trust you to do that? So that's definitely advice, bit number 1. And you can do that like before you go freelance.
Yeah. It's super easy just to fix up your own account,
absolutely.
to create like a simple digital portfolio and just make up projects on your own and put on there. Yeah,
like, I think with clients, I always say, like, if you're going to be on social media, let's pick like at least 1 or 2 channels, 2 channels ideally, 3 is even better, to have a really good presence on. But for me personally, because I have clients across social media, I try and keep up with Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn, which can feel like quite a lot of work. And I have a website as well, so just keeping a handle on those platforms is important. 2 other pieces of advice. Actually, being at the beginning is really cool because you get to build a business with intention. So, like, I just stumbled into freelancing and then I found myself just saying yes to projects that came along, and actually working big picture is super important if you want to build a sustainable business. So take some time, maybe it's just like 1 day a week, or maybe it's even like 1 afternoon a week, where you don't look for work, you don't even work on your own social media, you don't touch emails, you just put everything down, maybe take a piece of paper and a pen, and you just think about, why are you doing this? What are your goals this month, this quarter, this year? How are you going to reach them? And just like zoom out. It's definitely, second piece of
and
advice
get
being
that
to zoom out.
overall perspective.
Yeah, because everyone does it. We all just like get our heads down and we get into like a hamster wheel of like doing our freelancing, running our businesses, running our clients' social media accounts, and it's really important to take that time to think big picture. Definitely. Third piece of advice, think, and probably tied into that as well, is think about who your ideal client is and like actually find them. So find an actual like representation of your ideal client. And I did this a few years ago. I was like, okay, I'd really like to work with like a small company that's based in Devon. They have ethics at like the heart of what they do. They've got cool imagery. They're quite out there. They're looking forward. And I found this company who I thought kind of embodied that, and it was Bird Sunglasses, who are, create sustainable eyewear here in the UK. And so I just started to engage with them and follow them, look at their content, and just chat with them over social, like we do to, on Instagram with our friends. Do that with your ideal client. I ended up working with them for 6 months, which was awesome.
Wow.
That was really cool. So yeah, take the time to find your ideal client and learn about them. And it might be that they have needs that you hadn't considered before.
That's awesome. Those are really good
There's
advice.
a lot of talking.
Yeah. What are you drinking, by the way? It looks delicious.
Blackcurrant squash. Ooh. I think. I'm like, I can't, it sounds so basic, I can't drink water. We're going through so much squash, literally. We're going through like litres of squash a week because just keep drinking it.
What is squash? For one who's
squash. Squash is like cordial. Yeah, so yeah, it's just cheap cordial that you water down. Yeah.
Okay. Because when you said squash, I was thinking of a pumpkin.
Oh yeah. The actual vegetable. See, this is pureed squash.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it looks a bit clear.
I don't trust you. Yeah, different type of squash.
Yeah. I learned something new. Like,
yeah, brilliant.
This isn't as well.
This isn't just about freelancing. This is about keeping hydrated.
Exactly.
It's an important part of running a business.
I wanted to check with you if you have found like 3 resources that you would like to share with us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I need to write a blog about this because I feel like that's the thing that freelancers ask, is like, oh, where should I go to learn more? The number one I always say is a Facebook group called the Freelance Lifestylers.
Okay.
It's run by somebody called Emma Cossey or Emma Ward. I don't know what her second name is on Facebook.
Okay.
But it's this, it's just a fantastic free Facebook group, full of resources, full of people asking questions, positive place, and you can just go in there and rant as well. It's a great place to learn how to be a freelancer. Definitely.
That's cool. Like, is it UK specific or is it an international?
No, international. And it's quite a nice way of making connections as well. So I met someone in there who does similar thing to what I do, and then she's in France, and then I followed her, and then I started doing some work with her last week. So actually it's a really cool place to develop relationships, which can come around to being work as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely jump in there. What else? 3 resources.
If you have, I don't know, an Instagram account we should follow, or like a movie we should watch, a book we should read.
So I'm on Instagram. So I'm currently doing a 6-week challenge, 6-week course challenge thing. It's actually called the 6-week thing, and it's run by Alex Beadon. Okay. And she's really, really cool. Definitely check her Instagram feed out. She's based in the UK, but she talks really candidly about money, and she's just shifted from being a sole trader into a limited company. So yeah, her feed and her Instagram stories are a really good place to start, especially if you're wanting to learn about like authentic content. So yeah, it's a really good place to be. There's a lot of people on Instagram who just post like samey stuff. It just gets a bit like formulaic. Alice is a really good leader in being true with your audience and kind of going outside the box a little bit.
That's good.
So definitely. And then the third one, actually a podcast probably. So there's a podcast it's now on hold, which makes me very sad. I get very attached to podcasts. I don't listen to very many, and so like when I put my energy into them and then they go on pause, I'm like, I get really sad. But there's a podcast from someone called Alex Beadon called, what is that one called? On Purpose with Alex Beadon. It's got over 100 episodes, and I'm pretty sure they're all still relevant, even though some of them are coming up to maybe a couple of years old. So she's based in Trinidad, and it is kind of American leaning. It's quite good for like a kick up the butt.
What's American?
American leaning in terms of
she leans towards the American style of
yeah. So yeah, it can be a bit more like, I'm not going to do an impression. Impression of an American. That's so bad. No. Yeah, we won't do that. But it's a bit more like peppy and yeah, it's really good.
Understood.
Alex Beadon.
What kind of stuff does she like bring up?
Lots of different things about audiences, marketing, sales, funnels. She's known for Instagram stories, but I follow her for things like automation and
super useful
team structure. Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely those three, check them out. There's so many. I'm gonna have to like write them all down one day, because there are so many people that I just love on Instagram and Twitter and podcasts that really sort of light the way for freelancers. Because there's often like I spent maybe like 2 or 3 years learning how to be a freelancer, and people don't have to go through that anymore because there's so many resources out there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's cool. Well, if you ever write that blog post,
yes,
let us know and we'll share it.
Thank you. I'm going to write blog here now, because I've been saying this for weeks and I just need to get on and write it.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much for jumping on a call, Rebecca.
It was really fun.
Sharing your tips.
Thank you. A cat just came in, so yeah.
You
peak homeworking position now. It's like, I feel like if there was like homeworking freelancer bingo, like cat would definitely be
definitely
one to cross off.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for having me, for the questions. It's good to chat.
Amazing. It was a pleasure having you. I'm sure awesome. I'll ask you to be on again at some point.
Yay! Quite like talking to people, so whenever.
Awesome. Yeah, we need that in these times, no?
Yeah,
speak to somebody else than your boyfriend or your family, or
right, or the cat.
Or the cat.
Oh dear.
Okay, have a nice evening.
Cool. Yes, and you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining Coffee Break with Rebecca Broad. It's been great having you guys, and it's been so much fun talking to Rebecca about communications and freelancing this day and age. I think that she gave us so many good tips and tricks. I might consider going freelancing now. But yeah, you guys, make sure you follow us on Instagram to see who's up next, and also to get notifications on when we post stuff on there. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, evening, night, morning, wherever you are in the world.